Hi.
I'm Christine.
Nice to meet you, Christine.
Hi. Allison.
Tori. We're going to review your case for all of your children. See, we have that your oldest child who's in the second grade, profoundly deaf, and was implanted at 2 years old, but she hasn't been successful with her cochlear implant. That's right.
Right.
All right. The middle child who's in first grade is hard of hearing, but has bilateral hearing aids, and they're beneficial, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the youngest child is 5 and has a severe to profound hearing loss and is starting school this year. So ideally, you had said that you wanted all your children to attend the same school, but you were open to whatever is best for the children.
Right. I just want what's best for him.
Okay.
So how do you primarily communicate in the home?
Since they all have a degree of hearing loss, we primarily use sign language, ASL.
Okay. And since your oldest child has a cochlear implant and the youngest has hearing aids, are you considering, or the middle child has hearing aids, are you considering amplification for the youngest, or like cochlear implants?
We're worried about doing that since it wasn't successful with the oldest child, but we were wondering what you think.
Okay. Well, we understand your concerns, and if you'd like, we can look into it further at a later time with the cochlear implants to see if he would be a good candidate for it.
So as far as school placement, what are your thoughts about that?
Well, since they're at all different degrees of hearing loss, I'm just not sure which would be the best option if they should go to the same school. I mean, I would like for them to be in the same place, but I want them to get a good education regardless, so I wasn't sure of all the options.
Well, it's up to you either way, but we can give you some options of the different school placements and see what you think. So let's review like the mainstream setting if you wanted them all to be in like a public school setting. If you went with a general classroom setting, the child could use a personal FM system where the teacher uses a microphone. The child has earbuds, plays what they're saying over like a radio frequency, so it's just amplified for them. Or there could be an ASL interpreter provided in the class. You could use the pull-out method, which is if there's a resource teacher that takes the child out during class to focus on specific topics, or if they need to go to speech therapy, they could be pulled out. Or in a self-contained classroom, everyone in the classroom has some form of hearing loss. They are going to be in the classroom with their peers the whole time, so they're not really out with the general population. Or you could use an itinerant teacher, which is a teacher who comes once or twice a week, helps your child focus on specific topics, and can help, doesn't need an interpreter or anything like that. Now these schools do provide more AP and honors classes than non-mainstream schools. But you do run the risk of the child being the only person in the classroom with a hearing impairment. And there are some social implications of this. Myers, research by Myers and Roy said that some of the factors to consider are the teacher's willingness to use like an FM system and the acoustics and the lighting in the room, just so your child has the best opportunity to see and hear everything that they possibly can. Yeah. Does that sound like a good option for you? Is that something you would like, or do you want to hear other options that we've got?
Yeah, I'd like to hear other options, probably.
Okay. So we can talk a little bit about residential or day school. So here in Knoxville, we have the option of Tennessee School for the Deaf, and so since you live here, you don't necessarily have to send them to in a residential setting. They can just go for the day. So there's an option, and in this institution they have deaf educators, so there won't be a need for an interpreter or anything like that. They're going to be using ASL in the classroom. The students use it, the teachers use it, along with other modes of communication to kind of help facilitate like a better learning environment. They also use FM systems, which we mentioned earlier. Do you have any questions about that, or do you understand what that is?
So it's a microphone that the teacher wears?
Yes. So
Okay.
it's basically, and no other students will like hear that. So it's gonna the teacher will have the microphone and the
It's connected to
It goes
the
straight to
yeah.
the ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your children that are amplified would be able to benefit from that.
And what are the modes of communication they would use?
Well, there's a lot of different ways. They can use cued speech. So maybe for your like middle child, that would maybe benefit them. So they would just, with their reading lips, they would just like signal near their face, like to help them along with that. Since so many sounds look similar on the lips.
ASL and then like signed English, which is a different kind of form of sign language. It just kind of goes in a different pattern, like the grammatical structure.
Okay.
But you like these different like signing methods along with FM systems and cochlear implants.
And so along with academics, they also offer a lot of extracurricular activities. So they still have sports and different clubs that your children can look into. It really fosters like a social environment too. And research by states that peers typically identify better with those who are similar. So in this case, with hearing loss and similar communication methods, it might be easier to form relationships. So that's just something to consider. Do you have any questions?
No, thank you for all this information.
Absolutely. And yeah, we're just going to look at different options for intervention and communication and school placement, just depending on what you think is right after you've spoken with your family and thought what's best for your children. All right.
Thank you.